And we should point out, what today Phil Foden's had, because remarkably he won't get the headlines because he's behind that fella, but you know him, you know he's a City through and through. He's been there since the age of 9 to score his first hat-trick in a derby.
It's nice to score a goal in a derby, but obviously to score 3, especially when you haven't scored one against your arch rivals, is incredible. But in general, throughout the whole game, he played well. He caused problems. He linked up play with a lot of attacking plays with that City had. And I think, especially this one, just the whole movement to it where he plays it and he just floats around and then he goes in a box. And you think Eriksen's got him, but he kind of lets him go, and the finish is a beautiful finish.
It is. I mean, he's going to get overshadowed or spoken about far less than he should be. But the best accolade I could give him is I think this kid is as special as we've got in English football. I think he's the future of the England national team. I think he is, when you look around our team at the moment, I think he's probably the only one that can stand there and we could say one day he could be the best player in the world. It's probably a big shout now with the likes of Haaland on this planet and Mbappe, but he is seriously good, and to do it on this occasion, to score a hat-trick, is quite an achievement.
Yeah, I've thought for quite a long time. I think he even said last year, I think he could be one of England's best ever players. England's best ever player, sorry, he's that good, he's got everything, he's starting to grow a bit as well. I think that still physically he could get better, he could get stronger, he could get quicker, and he's starting to show that now, and he's scoring goals, adding goals to his game. That's what all midfield players want. You have to remember, he had to replace David Silva as well. He was a legend at the football club, brilliant player, and he's come in, he's done. He had to be patient as well at times, because Pep took a little bit of time to bring him forward, but what we're seeing now is what I expected really is a brilliant foot. And I know, looking at these goals that we're seeing today, a lot of these goals could have been prevented by United, but when he got the chances today, he was deadly, he was clinical, and look, he's a top class player, and fingers crossed he stays fit and will become the player we all think he will be.
Yeah, for me, he was fantastic. Even here, that you think there's no space, because the Man United defenders, I think, in that situation, you could have put a blanket over them. They was that close together, but he seems to just drift in positions behind, and he's got, as we know, he's got like a wand of a left foot, and it's a great finish.
Yeah, and it really is a great finish. I mean, side foot, but with pace. He looks where the goalkeeper is. It's cool in front of goal, and that coolness is so important. Lots of people just stick their head down and smack it there, but he can still generate a lot of power and place it. I mean, he's got pretty much everything, and deceptively fast as well. I mean, he is quick. Scholes, he's right, he possibly could get quicker the stronger he gets, but he's a top-notch player, and it will be important for City and England going forward.
And we're talking about those two, obviously, because of the hat-tricks, but in terms of the front three and their attacking threat, and Paul saying it could have been more goals, was that Jack Grealish's best game in a Manchester City shirt today?
Yeah, I think what helped is he started on the front foot. I think he had the beating of Dalot from the moment go, and I think that yellow card helped him with the encouragement to believe in himself as a winner. That's one thing you hope, and your first dribble, you want it to be successful, and his was by winning a foul, and then he kind of just got better and better through the game and caused Man United's defence a lot of problems.
He certainly did. A joyous day for the blue side of Manchester then, not so for the red. Here's some Manchester United reaction with Christian Eriksen.
How demoralising a defeat was that?
Yeah, I think it came very heavy. I think everyone feels it as a very bad day at the office.
What was missing today?
Yeah, I think we started on the wrong foot. I mean, they had a lot of chances straight from the game and straight from kickoff. And yeah, I think we can only blame ourselves from not coming really into the game at any point.
What was it you weren't doing? You say you started off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, I think we missed a bit of courage to play out from the back, and we let them be in their strength. So yeah, I think the main focus after this game will be on ourselves. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to change, a lot of things we need to do better. Yeah, today was far from acceptable for what we should be doing.
Having made such strides recently, won your last four, does that feel like a big step backwards from the progress you'd made?
Like you said, it's still progress. I mean, if we would be winning anything, it would be a different conversation. But there'll be bump on the road, and I think we're going to take this as a very tough defeat. But again, there's a next game in the next few days and the weekend after. So it's really just about getting back up, and yeah, it shows character, and we need to do that.
Any defeat is bad, and a heavy defeat is bad. But the fact it's the Manchester derby, does it make it that much worse?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you always want to beat the rivals. I mean, you always want to win the derbies. And yeah, like you said, the games before at home, we done very well, not only against the rivals, but against the top teams. We won them, and then we come here and we lose. I mean, of course, it's tough, and something that we need to do better. And then when we play them next time this season, hopefully we'll be on a better foot.
After a day like today, do the players have to have honest conversations with each other?
No, I think as a group, I think everyone as a group will be looking at themselves first of all, and then after tomorrow we'll have a meeting with the manager, and we'll probably go through everything that went wrong today, and then from there we'll take on the next game.
Thanks for talking to us.
Welcome.
That will be a painful meeting. What frustrated you the most about United today? Because you were optimistic before kick-off. Let's forget.
I'm always optimistic before games. Look, City were brilliant, but I think we'll probably look in more detail at the goals later, but I think a lot of them goals could have been prevented. I think team selection, possibly, he might have got wrong. I think he got carried away a little bit.
The Eriksen-Fernandes thing.
Eriksen-Fernandes thing, yeah. Look, Eriksen is predominantly an attacking player. Now, for him to be playing in that central midfield role against lesser teams is great. You get away with it. But once you go to a Manchester City against a top-class team, you don't know where you are because there's that many quality players around. They keep the ball that well. All of a sudden, you've got Bernardo Silva behind you. You've got Kevin De Bruyne coming at you. You just don't know where you are. It's a totally different world than when you're playing against these so-called lesser teams, and he got found out today. It's not his position. He's the one who probably wants to play in the Fernandes position. Really, that's where he wants to play. But because it's gone so well against these teams, the manager's got carried away a little bit with it, I think, because he's such a good footballer. He's able to find Fernandes at will, really. But in these types of games, you don't get possession. You just don't against Manchester City, and that's where you need to have a defensive midfield player who plays the position really well. He knows what's behind him, he knows what's in front, he knows when to press, he knows when to come and sit back and just diffuse the situation. He doesn't know that position, and I feel for him because I was a very similar player. I wanted to be the one like Fernandes going forward. But in them big games, you look back, the manager never really played me in them games against the best teams. You think of your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, because you knew, positionally sense-wise, in them games, I wasn't clever enough to do that because I was brought up as more of a midfield player. You talk about your Nicky Butts, your Roy Keane, your Michael Carricks, played the position brilliantly well. I think he had a player on there today with great experience on the bench in Casemiro, who would have been a lot more suited to.
I mean, before the game, I said Casemiro, he probably is the one player on the bench that he's desperate to get in there, but at the minute he's not been given the excuse to play him. You've had a little dabble at management. Do you feel as if you can do that 4 games on the spin, but still, no, it doesn't matter, I'm playing this way?
You've got to take the opposition to account. Today is totally different.
It's the hardest test, isn't it?
Well, it's the biggest test in world football at the minute. Is playing going up against Manchester City, not just Europe, not just England. It's the biggest test in the world, going up a team who keep the ball so well with so many talented players. You have to have 2 players in the middle of the pitch who play the position brilliantly well. Now, the only 2 they've got at the minute are McTominay and Casemiro, or Fred, you could say, in that type of a position, who do sometimes get dragged out a bit. But to play an attacking player there, you'd say it's brave in some ways. It's a very attacking team. But whatever you do against these teams, you don't get possession. I remember going back to the Champions League final against Barcelona, we thought, we're going to overrun these, we're going to have too much for them. We didn't touch the ball for 83 minutes. First 7 minutes were great. After that, you don't touch the ball. And these games are very much like that. So it's imperative you have 2 players in the middle of the pitch who know the position. Today, even McTominay at times today, he got dragged out of position. The
3rd goal.
For the 3rd goal, and that leaves Eriksen, the man who's not really a central midfield player, on his own. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know to drop off. He didn't know to go to the ball. He's put in awkward positions, and I just felt the experience of Casemiro, what he's done in the game, what he's done in that position, that was a game for him today. But look, looking back, City were brilliant. They might, even if you do play them 2 players today, it still could have been 6-3. It still could have been, but I think United would have had a better chance being a bit more solid in the middle of the pitch.
OK, the City did win 6-3, and here is their manager, Pep Guardiola.
Very simply, how good were your side today, particularly in the first half?
Yeah, I was really good. I scored 4 goals that we couldn't score really more. So always in the half time we thought we have continued, but always more difficult. And yeah, they play better in the second half. But yeah, in the last minutes we were flat. But yeah, you know, great victory, good game. Everyone was happy in the stadium, and they enjoy it. We enjoy it, and against our rival Man United. So yeah, good afternoon for us.
As well as the scoreline, for you as a coach, again, particularly in that first half, what did you like the most?
In general, was really good. How aggressive we were without the ball. They could not play because, of course, when they have the Lisandro and Bruno and Eriksen and all of them, they have quality to play. We saw a little bit in a few minutes in the second half, but in the first half we were there in the terms. We were good. We were the spaces, and after the quality of the players we have up front make the difference.
As well as the quality you have, was also on their show today, not for the first time, the desire.
It happened for the day one we are here, so this is not negotiable. So we can win or lose, but the effort and the desire and help each other. But many things we can do better, and some players still are not. They were not good today, and we had to improve.
Is that the sign of you always looking for perfection, even though it's a tremendous scoreline? You've got two players score a hat-trick, but you're still not completely happy.
Listen, perfection doesn't exist, so it's impossible. But we have to try to look for. Go over there, so that's for sure. So, not the result, the 6 goals. We have done it good. We can do better, and many players, a few players, sloppy passes, we lost it, and that is not good. We have to be more consistent in our passes. So, at the end of final third, you can be more creativity, you can take more risk, but in some areas, still we were not good.
When United scored that third goal, Sean said to me, "Pep won't be happy, you know." You know him well, don't you?
Yeah, but I think even if you speak to Mo or Paul, if you're that comfortable in a game, the last thing you want to do is give false hope, because then it just makes your game even harder, because United were going to keep going to try and get another one just to close the gap in the situation so it doesn't look as bad as it was. So to concede 3 goals, you could see for the first time, I would say, they looked like they took their foot off the gas, which when you brought on the fresh legs, I thought Alvarez is going to want to get a goal, Mahrez, Cole Palmer, you thought they was going to go for it, but it seemed like they stepped backwards rather than forward.
Mind you, in the last 8 home games, they've scored 36 goals now. Manchester City.
What's conceding 3 goals? And it doesn't make any difference.
But it does to
But it does, absolutely. And to be honest, he's got to be like that. I mean, you look at, they let, the Champions League slip from being sloppy. They're in total control. So when you get into these positions in the league, you've got to practice closing games out, winning by more, however you're going to do it. But to concede 3 goals in the second half, as much as overall he'll be happy, there's still something there for him to work on, still something there for him to be frustrated about.
OK, but it's still the 3 points for Manchester City. They have blown Manchester United away today by 6 goals to 3.
What you were looking for today, just where and how did that go wrong for Manchester United?
Lack of belief.
That's very surprising, having won your last 4. Were you surprised by that?
I'm surprised why we didn't bring that on the pitch. I've seen, but it's obviously 4 weeks ago, I've seen a different team, a different spirit, a different vibe, and convincement. And today we didn't have convincement. From the first minute on, we were not front foot and we were not brave in possession.
Easy to ask, but why was that?
That's always difficult to find out, especially straight after the game. I have to talk with my players, I have to find out. They know they can better. I see the performance Arsenal, see the performance Liverpool, but if you don't fight, and that's what we didn't, then you get a problem against a team like Man City.
A disappointing afternoon, what did you make of it?
Clear. Very disappointed, and especially the lack of belief. And I didn't expect it. Our team was in the games, and obviously it's some weeks ago, but was confident. There was a good spirit, there was a good vibe, and today we didn't bring that on the pitch from the first minute on, and then you all run back and you collect goals. That's quite clear when you play against top players like they have, and you run back, you collect goals.
Why do you think that good vibe has gone? Where do you think it's gone?
I don't see it for it's gone, like it's you express it like it's definitive, but it isn't. But today, because they didn't bring the belief on the pitch, and it was possible to play, and we didn't. On the ball, we give easy balls away. We make many wrong decisions, and out of position, we didn't wear front foot, and that is what I always expect from my team. And today they didn't.
Much better control from your side in the second half. Anthony Martial comes back from injury and scores twice. That's good news.
Yeah, clear. He had a really good pre-season, and I'm happy for him that he scored the goals, and also for Anthony that he scored a goal. And we had some opportunities more which we create, but in this moment I cannot express for the outside world. There are always positives, but we are highly disappointed about this result, and that has to be the tone for this Sunday.
Okay, but it's still the 3 points for Manchester City. They have blown Manchester United away today by 6 goals to 3 at the Etihad.
It's an open door. This performance is unacceptable, and as a team, as an individual, we will criticize each other tomorrow, and then we have to learn the lessons, and we have to do better, and starting next game.
Is that useful to have a lot of games in October to put that right as quickly as possible?
I think it's good. A team as City, they give you the status where you are in this moment. And clear, we did well against top teams like Liverpool and Arsenal. Then we were disciplined, we followed the rules and the principles, and we had belief to play, we were front foot in the defending, and then you can bring a good performance and you can bring a result. When you don't, when you are not front foot, when you are not brave enough to play, you get the result as today.
You can hear the disappointment in his voice, lack of belief, lack of fight, Paul.
Yeah, well, you can see that. I think a lot of the goals could have been avoided. I won't get carried away by them 4 games they won. They weren't fantastic, brilliant football. They're just a certain way of playing, which wasn't great to watch. But they won the games, they did the job. So, coming up against a City team today, when you play that way, when it goes well, it looks good, it looks great. When it goes badly, it looks awful. You look at Tottenham yesterday, the way Conte plays, it can go badly wrong. So, look, he learned a lesson today. His players weren't brave enough. These players made a lot of mistakes. I'm sure he watched the video and realised he's come up against a very special team today.